I'm in Nehru Place, the biggest computer outfit in the whole of the world. I'm sending you greetings, all the University of Burundi doctoral students and the others who are in Lagos State University. It's been a wonderful time here. I normally come for about 4 days for training to take off my IT skills, to improve my IT skills on a yearly basis. Our lesson part 2 part 2 now starts, and then we're going to continue with Google Scholar as a tool for learning about a title or deriving a title for our doctoral thesis. So let's get back to class and take on our lesson on Google Scholar, use of Google Scholar to guide the selection of the title of a doctoral thesis. So what are the objectives of this lesson 2, part 2? We're going to introduce Google Scholar. That's the first thing we'll do. And the next thing will be we look at the steps in the use of Google Scholar as a guide for deriving the titles of our doctoral thesis. We're going to go step by step here, and it's going to be practical. The last thing we'll do in this lesson is that you all have submitted, or most of you have submitted, the proposed titles of your doctoral thesis. So we're going to review, the titles that you have submitted. So let's take on objective number 1, which is, what is Google Scholar? Now, 2 people who were designing the Google website, Alex Verstack and Anurag Acharya, decided to come on with Google Scholar so that they can, would narrow our searches for those who are interested in scholarly works like you and like me. So they released the beta version in November of 2004. That's 14 years ago. So 14 years ago, the beta version was released. What is it, by the way? Now, Google Scholar is available for everybody. It's a web search engine that indexes the full text or the metadata of scholarly literature across an array of publishing formats and disciplines. Now, what is this array? Now, this array includes most peer-reviewed online academic journals and books, which you will be referring to, will be on your reference list as a doctoral student. So you get most of these ones are indexed by Google Scholar. Conference papers, thesis, like all the theses that have been done relating to your work, you are going to get them searched by Google Scholar. Dissertations, preprints, abstracts, technical reports, and other scholarly literature, including court opinions and patents. Now, you will ask, what is the volume? Now, their estimate, the Google itself or Google Scholar has not given an estimate, but researchers have come up with this estimate of about 180 million documents, all of these documents, as of June of last year. So that is the end of objective number 1. Shall we take on objective number 2? Yeah, so what's our objective number 2? We are to identify the steps in the use of Google Scholar to guide our deriving the titles of doctoral thesis. So we're looking at steps. Now, what are these steps? I have identified 7 of them, 7 steps, based on my experience of using Google Scholar, personal experience, which I want to share with you. The first thing is for us to search using the theme of your study and possible location. Let's assume that I'm interested maybe in politics of Burundi or education or agriculture or health. That's what I mean by the theme. And then the location would be Nigeria, maybe Burundi. That's what I mean by location. Then the next step is for us to scan the search results for the relevant topic. So we'll do a search using that theme, put in the location, and then we scan, just look quickly through the results for a relevant topic. And number 3 is to save the relevant studies on your local drive. You'll see the importance of that in a minute. After saving this, you can go offline, and at your convenience, step 4, you read through the saved studies so as to determine areas where those scholars are saying they are not fully explored. Questions that remain unanswered, the gaps that we're talking about in our lesson 1. Then you begin to form your topic in a tentative manner from the suggestions for further study that the scholars that have worked before you have indicated. Then when you got this tentative topic, number 6 is for you to now brainstorm on the tentative topic with your supervisor. You see your supervisor and you discuss with him or her and other colleagues. And number 7 is to produce the first draft of your title. So let's go. Let's take on step 1. We say you should search using the theme for your study and possible study location. Just for the purpose of this lesson, let me assume that the theme for my doctoral research is food security. That's theme. Now location will be Burundi. So I'm looking at searching using Google Scholar to search for food security and then Burundi. Now let's see how that works. Yeah, so this is how it works. You can type Google Scholar on the address bar here if you like, or you just go to Google and ask Mr. Google to give you Google Scholar. So let's take the second one. So let's say Google Scholar. All right. So Google Scholar has come up. Please note that I'm in Delhi now, so it's come up with Google Scholar, the India version. It's the same. So let's click on Google Scholar, and Google Scholar now comes and say, yes, here I am. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I like that. And it now asks us what we want. So like I said, I want food security in the great country of Burundi. Yeah, here you go. So it comes, let me minimize it slightly. Yeah. So you can see it has come with 48,600 results. And you have them. I like you to please look at this. Anytime within this, you can sort this thing by dates, but we are not there yet. We're going to be looking at this during the literature review part of our course. That's ICT in the use for literature review. That's when we'll be narrowing down to here. So don't bother about all of this. You can look at the right column here, the right side here. This particular one is a PDF in worldfoodprice.org. That's the site where it's located. This one is a researchgate.net site. It's a PDF also. It's a PDF. This is an HTML. Yeah. But don't bother about all of that. All we have done is step 1. We have put in our theme and we have put in our location. So you can see food security in Burundi, plant diseases, a threat to global security. And it goes on. Of course, you know this because you are doctoral students, the best in Africa. I tell you, I'm very impressed with the class. I'm very, very, very impressed. I've used 4 varies now with the doctoral students of the University of Burundi. So you can go on and be doing the search. So that's that's step number 1. Yeah, having done with step number 1, so what is step number 2? Step number 2 is that we scan the search results for relevant topic. You know, I started doing that a little while ago, but I'm going to now combine that with step 3. That is, save the relevant studies on your local drive. So let's go back to our search. So step 2 is for us to look at the ones that we think are relevant. And step 3, the ones that are relevant, we save them to local drive. Let's take this one. Food security in Burundi. That looks quite relevant. How do I know? I don't know. So you can now look at this. I'm going to right click. You can use any browser. I'm just using one of these old IE, that's Internet Explorer. So I'm going to open in a new tab. So this is where it is now. It's coming here. Yeah, so that's it. So let's look at it. Lizzie Bettleston, student participant and all that, full security in Burundi. So it's come up with this. Yeah. So I'm going through this to find out whether it's relevant. I think it is. Primary education should contain this. With diminished. So we asked that you should be looking out for what the author or the scholar here says are things that have not been done, that needs to be done. Those are the gaps. So let me see what this person is saying. It could be close to the conclusion. Let's see now. To conclude, yes, Burundi is an example of an impoverished African nation with less than 60% literacy rate, limited quality farmland, inadequate yields, and all of that. At this time, little agricultural extension programs have been put in place, although a third fund, a tier fund, okay? You can see not enough work has been done to make much difference nationwide in regards to improving food production, potential income, or restoring the 70% of worn farmland back to productiveness. So, as Buffalo, so we're going to note this. We're going to note this section. But please note that this particular step 3, is for us to now save this to a local drive if it is what we want. So how do we proceed? In some browsers, you can just right-click and they show you Save As. But here, you just go to File, Save As. Why am I saving it? I'm saving it because we now have to come back to all of these articles that we find to be useful. So let's see, looking for University of Burundi. Where are you now? Where I kept my ICT course, lessons, this lesson 2, this lesson 2, part 2. So I'm going to create a new folder where I'm going to call downloads for title. Good. So finish. I just say save. I've done that. So let's still go back to this. I've taken this one. Plant disease, a threat to global food security. It's mentioned Burundi here. I'm not too sure. Agriculture, pesticides, food security, and food safety. All right. Warming of the Indian Ocean threatens that. Validation of the World Food Program, food consumption score. This is a book. The water resources threshold, food security contribution, food security in sub-Saharan Africa feature. This looks fairly okay. You can see it's 2003, although I would have loved recent ones. But don't worry yet. When we get to literature review, part of our work, we can be narrowing down to more recent things. But let's just make it quite global. So this one, let's check it out. Let's check it out. Let's come in here. Abstract. This is an abstract. Let's see what I was saying here. I'm not too sure of this, so we're going to close it. We already dealt with this, so let's see that one again. Full security feature. It should show us. Doing that again. Okay, this is an the right to food. We need this. Maybe not. So we just keep going. There's something else I need to show you. You see, food security in Burundi, you can have Burundi showing up, or food or security. They just keep coming and going. If you now want it to be to have the 3 words, I mean these 4 words together, so you can just put them in quotes. Food security in Burundi. This will narrow the thing and it will be more interesting. So you can see that's only 29 results. As I said, it's now more interesting because it now has 29 results from 48,000. So this has its advantage. It also has its disadvantages. Disadvantages in the sense that the search is not looking for this as altogether, whereas the other one will give us more latitude, and you may get some other studies that are not here that are useful for us there. But let's just go on. We already have this one. Food security in Eastern Africa and the Great Lakes. This looks quite interesting. So let's see what it is. Yeah. Yeah, this is nice. So, food security in Eastern Africa and the Great Lakes. Final report, 2007. So we can go through this. This may make some interesting reading for us. Literature review, conclusions from the literature review. This may be interesting too. Methodology. You can see, you can learn about methods. You can learn about a lot of things from this. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, this is a good guy. This looks like a good one. So what do? We save it. And we're going to come back to it. So save is a 110-page document. So file, save as. As I said, it's important that you save for the reason that you can then go offline and then come back at your convenience and be reading through. So we have this. You can call it. You can just rename it. It's a good one, so you can say good 2. If the first one is good 1, which I didn't label, it's okay. So good 2, we got that. We can close it. That's it. Oh, we didn't want this one. We already have done with this. Yes, so let's look at. Okay, my driver is calling me now. Yeah, he has to wait. Validation of the World Food Programme's food consumption score and alternative indicators of household food security. This looks quite good. It's HTML, but let's see how it is. Classification of food security in Burundi. Based on that, this may be interesting. So let's look at it. It's a book. We may not be able to get, it's coming up with some interesting, let's see what we got there. Yeah, it's downloading. It is acknowledgement. Yeah, this is the abstract. Okay. Yeah, it may take a little while to download, but that's fine. So if we like it, let's still save it. Save as, we can say good 2. The ones that are fair, you can call them fair. Yeah, so it's already saved. Let me close this and keep going. This is citation. Recovering from conflict. Analysis of food production in Burundi. This looks quite nice. As a 2010 publication. So open it, check it out. Let's see. So it's coming up with an error code. The Wageningen University research. Okay, so I cannot use this. Chat offline. No, I don't need to chat offline. Let's see. Okay. Let's see it again. Recovering from this. Let's see. I think it's the same. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's it. So you can see. Let me just show you again. Show you again. You can see that we took it from here. I took it from here rather than from here. So that's what gave us that nice. This one here. Yeah. Recovering from conflict, analysis of food production. This 2010, as we said, a conference in South Africa. joined 3rd African Association of Agricultural Economists and 40th Agric Economics Association of South Africa. This is nice. So we're just going to save this as we did before. Your browser may be different. In Google, for instance, if we want to save it, we right click, we'll go to save as. But the one I'm using now, you can actually look at this Explorer. Oh, by the way, this is the test you took on Friday, and I scored 10-10, by the way. Why shouldn't I score 10-10? I drew up the questions and I know the answers. All right, so to save on this one is also, no, it's not a right click. Let's see. You save on this. No. I actually do Alt F8 to save on it. Anyway, just search for selector or view source now. Just find how you save Radisson Hotel. That's where I'm staying now. Radisson in New Delhi. A part called Greater Noida. Yeah. So let's see. So whatever your browser tells you how to save, you just do it. So save as. Let's take this one to be good 3. Because I think it's a good one. Good 3. So that's also saved. So we'll go back to this. And so you keep going on like that. Diagnosing this. This is citation. This is citation. Let's go on to the second page. Influence of agricultural techniques in food security in Burundi. This looks quite good. Ahishakie. Oh, looks like one of our students is Ahishakie in 2011. Okay, so let's see it. Let's see it. It's 2.66 megabytes, right? Yeah. Master's dissertation. Okay, that's good. That's good. Janine Ahishakie is the author. So let's see. Results indicate that among variables considered, as for the fertilizer, this could provide entry into the findings imply that improvement in food security requires strengthening and expanding extension services in order to accelerate adoption of agricultural technology, create off-farm rural employment, promote and strengthen farmers' organization. These areas could provide entry points for policy intervention in order to enhance household food security. You know, you can replicate a study. You can also expand it. So this can be turned into a doctoral thesis where you're looking at how you can strengthen extension services, the impact of strengthening extension services in accelerating adoption of agricultural technology. So that could be something. Anyway, we'll get to that later. So what we're doing here is save this. So is it a good one? I think so. So you say good 4. So we're not going to go through all of this because I know you are very familiar with this terrain. So, but just know that that is how you proceed. You proceed with all this, this food security in Burundi by Stephen Abele, also very good. You can now go to the third one. Current status of rice production in Burundi and development strategies. This is very nice. Burundi improving security through disease prevention and treatment. This is another very good one. So you can just keep saving them. But let me do something. Let's even do a custom range that I want from 2010 to date, to 2018. That's what I want. So let's search. You see why it's important not to narrow this to, so it has given me 19 results rather than the 20 something. So it has taken off about 10 results, which may also be important in terms of their outlook. So that is it. What is it? It is that 1, we have done our search by theme, this is the theme food security, and by location. 2, we have identified the different scholarly works that we find to be relevant for our use. And third, we have saved these relevant works. So let me just look for it now. Where it is: University of Burundi, ICT course, lessons, lesson 2, part 2, and downloads for titles. So that's it. We have 4 already. So that is our step number. Actually, it's our step number 3 that saved the relevant studies on our local drive. Let's see what the other steps are before we round up this. So we said we've done save relevant studies on a local drive. Then read through the saved studies to determine areas not fully explored by previous studies. We have been doing that as I went along. And then form your tentative topic, brainstorm on tentative topic with your supervisor, produce the first draft of your title. These are the other steps we'll be doing next. Yeah, so as we said, step 4 is to read through all the studies that we saved so that we can determine areas that have not been fully explored by other scholars. So how do we do this? Yeah, as you can see, I saved, for the purpose of our practice, I saved these 4 files. So let's take a look at this. So we are to read through very carefully. So let us see. Let me make this bigger. Okay, not too big now. So you read through very carefully. Food security in Burundi. Nearly 2 billion bushels of corn will be crushed and all that. So you can see, by the way, there are a few tips we would like to let you know. And these are what you should watch out for when reading through the studies. You should look at the unanswered questions in the paper. That is, you see, the scholar will say, okay, I've been able to provide answers to these research questions, but I've not been able to provide answers to the following. So you should watch out for those unanswered questions, which you normally will find around the conclusion or recommendations for further studies. Then you should think about whether you want to repeat the study. Because the study may have been conducted in a particular province or state or a particular area in Burundi, and you want to be able to carry it out somewhere else. There is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with replicating, so that over time, when you replicate in different places and you keep getting the same results, it can lead to theory building. So do you want to, as you read through, you want to reflect, do I want to repeat this study in another area, or I want to break new grounds? And the third thing I think you can be watching out for is how the titles are framed. The reason why you need to be watching out how the titles are framed is that so that you can also customize these titles to fit those that you propose for your doctoral thesis. Now let's get back to that article. Now, using our 3 points of reference about unanswered questions and the way the title is framed, the title is Food Security in Burundi. That may not be a very good title for a doctoral thesis because it doesn't clearly show that there's a problem that you want to solve. So we're not going to use this. We're not going to depend on this title. So let's go as I went down before. So as I mentioned to you, you have to read through this very carefully. It's going to help you because in our lesson for next week, in use of ICT tools for literature review, we're going to come back to reading through all the scholarly works that you have saved on your local drive. So you read through, just find some time. It could be a day, it could be 2 days, but there are days that are very well spent. So you read through this and be watching out. Primary education, yeah, we know this. It's guarantees that. When they manage this. So we will go towards the end, and as we noted when we were looking at this one the first time, by teaching school children better agricultural practices. This additional farmland and this. The income, this gives, okay, let's say some more. Okay, these are the references. Okay, so let's see now. This action helps increase income earned and taxes paid, allowing for enhancements in the school system. This gives, okay, this does not really tell us, it's not like a study, it's like a theoretical paper which just describes what is. So we now press on to the other paper. That's the one we've called Good 2. So let's see Good 2. Good 2, food security in Eastern Africa and the Great Lakes. Yes, this looks like a good literature. Approaches, there's methodology. Well, this is a study, surveys and samples, sampling this overall. These are country reports from the different countries around the Great Lakes region. Burundi, okay, you have it, food security, daily calories. So you got to read this very carefully. Recommendations for targeting. Very good. So let's go to page 76. Let's say 76. Let's say 76. Yeah, I think I got this one. That's not it. That's not it. Let me go back now. So here we go. Recommendations for targeting. The algorithm for targeting countries and social summary and conclusion. The way social groups, a table that Tanzania. However, they have up to now a low. Let me make this yes, bigger for us to see. Let's see, but that's a weaker food security well with this, which might call for a continuous effort to mitigate the disease. Uganda is stable in terms of food security, seems to be coping well with all kinds of disease situations, but has a high CMD incidence, disease incident like CMD. So you cannot be looking at how impact of high CMD incidence on food security in Burundi. Hey, so we'll start getting a title. So yeah, so all we need to do is now is say incidence of exploring the incidence. Okay, I'm going to make this bigger. Exploring of CMD. You got to expand this when you are writing it in fully on food security. Excuse me now. In Burundi. Yeah, so we have a tentative title. Oh my goodness, we are moving. So this is done. Let's take on the other. We'll take on Good 3. Good 3, what do you have for us today? Recovery from conflict, an analysis of food production in Burundi. So you read through again very carefully, and maybe we'll go to the end and see what the recommendations are for further studies, discussion and conclusion. The main conclusion from this paper is that the resilience of the farms in the Muyinga and Ngozi provinces of Burundi to recover from conflict is very low. Farms did not succeed in recovering. They are still trapped in poverty, even farms of middle to large sizes. Okay, let's see. Households are poor and severely food insecure due to limited availability and accessibility of food. Yes, furthermore, so overall, we're getting to the end now. This is a matter for further research. So you can see, oh, I'm just happy today. See, some issues, see what the person has written here. Some issues need more research in order to be clarified. Due to a lack of detailed income data, we're not able to analyze the contribution of off-farm and non-farm income to farm productivity and food security. Well, while we assume that this contribution is limited, it has shown to be significant in the ordered, let me make it bigger. Yes, in the ordered logical. Very good. So due to the common, Finally, the efficiency levels in this paper are calculated with the DA has the advantage to allow further research will benefit from the comparison with other estimation models using parametric approach. So there are 3 titles that have come out from here. The one is this, where we assume that this contributes the matters for further research. This one, contribution of off-farm and non-farm income to farm productivity and security in Burundi. So let me copy this. So supervisor will be happy. Yeah, so I have it here. So I've pasted. So contribution of this another title that has come up. Yeah. Contribution, yeah, this another title. Contribution of off-farm and non-farm income to productivity and food security in Burundi. Yeah, so that's another title. Let's go on to see. Yeah, so this one is a matter. This is a matter of further research. We've done it. Another question for further research is the importance of cropping patterns. Due to common, so importance of cropping patterns, this is another matter. So you can get as many topics for your research from this. Yeah, so what have we done? We have looked at the unanswered questions in the paper which can form the title for our doctoral thesis. So we've got that. Do we want to repeat the study or break new grounds? We want to break new grounds. We are not repeating the study. We have noted the way titles are framed, so we have moved well on step number 5. So step number 5 is we have formed the tentative topic for from the suggestions for further study. We have gone to step, not that we have gone to step number 6. Then you have to go to your supervisor to show him the topics that you have been able to derive. So you say, Mr. Supervisor, sir, or Mrs. Professor Supervisor, ma'am. Now, I have 2 topics for you. Exploring the incidence of CMD on food security in Burundi, or contribution of off-farm and non-farm income to farm productivity and food security in Burundi. So your supervisor will then brainstorm on it. Okay, the brainstorming will be what will be the significance of this study? How will it add value to development in Burundi? What will be the impact of this for global food security and all of that? So you may then, at the end of the day, settle for one of them. If I'm to pick, if I were a supervisor, I would like this one: contribution of off-farm and non-farm income to farm productivity and food security in Burundi. So that's step number 6. Yeah, so after brainstorming, actually that's step number 7. We have produced the first draft of our title. Wow. We're clapping for ourselves. I'm clapping for myself. I'm clapping for you. Now that brings us to the end of this part 2 of lesson 2. How we can use ICT tools for development of sorry about that. So what have we done in the lesson so far? We introduced Google Scholar. We learned a little bit about it, and we used it. We identified the steps in the use of that tool, that ICT tool, as a guide for deriving the titles of our doctoral thesis. So the last thing we want to do is to just take a quick look at the doctoral thesis titles that you propose. So let's take a quick scan at the titles that participants in this course have proposed. First, I'm quite excited about all the titles, and I'd like to congratulate you all, congratulate Professor Juma Shabani on the selection of the best doctoral candidates, I tell you, in the whole of Africa. So let's look at the titles. I'm not going to read all the titles, but these are the tentative titles that you submitted at the point of registration. As I scroll down, I've done it alphabetical order, so you can see your name and pick it out. Let's take number 6, Batungwanayo Pacific, the Sciences, Study on Climate Variability over East Africa and its relationship with the dynamic of Indian Ocean. How very good. That's quite nice indeed. Let's look at Bugoma Gertrude is a lawyer de la protection de la liberté de religion or Burundi. I'm so sorry, my French is bad, but I hope I pronounce your proposed doctoral doctoral thesis title fairly well. Let's look at Giscard Batakara, also in science. Lithostructural, let me make this bigger, oof, too big. Lithostructural and morphological control of middle Proterozoic formations over groundwater resources. That looks a little bit like geology. This is very nice. I'm quite impressed with it. Like all the others, Abo, Nemina, Celestine, quantification integral, covariant, quantification, and all of that. That's very good, very good. We have another Habonimana Laurent, science. Jumo Latifa is from Nigeria. Kaba Yengeye Henry, Geographic Information System. GIS. GIS is quite good. So, Kayon, this Kayonde Oda, assessment of written, let's see this, assessment of written productions of advanced learners of English as a foreign language, a case study of the use of connectives by English majors from the University of Burundi. Oh, this is very nice. My wife will really love this because she's a professor of English herself. Kayond Oda, in an event that you need some guidance to support your supervisor, let us know, because my wife will gladly offer some help. She's a professor of English at Lagos State University. Now, Kayoya, Jean Bosco, Kennedy Wasiko. So you can see, as I scroll along, you can see the wonderful, let's see, number 20, Lumani Kapelula, Engineering Sciences, Evaluation of the Ecotoxicological Risk among the river people in the NWT Park of Lake Tanganyika. I hope I pronounce this right, NWT Park. Influence of effluents from Uvira General Hospital, Central Prison Household. This is going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting, like all the others. Manirakiza, environmental management, characterization of pollutions and its remediation. So we'll go on and on like that. You can see all of them. Bansi Pamphile, a lawyer. Protection of refugees in Burundi in regard of international law. Also very nice. So keep going. Let's see. Mvusebanka Celestine, Letters and Human Sciences. National this is going to be interesting. The national football team, instrument for consolidation of the sense of national membership and the reconciliation process between ethnicities, I think, ethnic groups in Burundi. Oh, this is so you can see all of them. I'm quite impressed with this. These are your, I'm going slowly now so you can see what you have submitted. I'm actually going to email this to everybody at some point, so you see how you can share ideas, share resources. Oh, this is our boss here, Professor Juma Shabani, the boss of also. Let me highlight it, yes. But Juma Shabani is a supervisor and the boss. Yeah, that's it. And so that's all the topics that were proposed tentatively for the doctoral studies, and they are very good. So why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this to let you know that you can reflect further on these topics using the Google Scholar tool. That can enable you to fine-tune these topics because you are very new. You are just new in the doctoral program. Your titles are not firmed up yet. Over time, you can keep modifying based on new things that you are able to see. So that's quite nice. Yeah, so after our proposed scan, what next do we have to do? Let's look at the outlook for the rest of this week. Today, Monday 30th, April 30th, we are taking on this lesson. And this lesson is going to be available all day, available tomorrow also, May 1st. By the way, May 1st is May Day, public holiday all over the world. So enjoy yourselves and relax. Don't work too hard, but this lesson will be available. But on Wednesday, May 2nd, we are going to have our usual discussion forum, and it's going to run from Tuesday over to Wednesday. On Thursday, please feel free. It's a free day for us. Free for I'm going to display the contributions to discussion forum on Thursday, and also this course. Then on Friday we have our usual quiz, which are available from 12 noon to midnight of this day. Yeah. So what's the outlook for next week? So next week we'll be going into another of that's the third topic in our course. This is the course. You have we've done number 1, have we? Key elements of research process. Yes, we have. Number 2 is what we are completing this week, ICT in the selection of the title for doctoral research. Number 3 is for next week, ICT in developing doctoral research proposal. And as you can see, I've done topics 1 and 2. Dr. Gbenga Akindoju is going to be doing topic number 3. Yeah, so as you can see again, Dr. Gbenga Akindoju will be taking on next week ICT developing doctoral research proposal. So it's been such a very huge delight working with you the last 2 weeks or so. I'll be seeing you after the week. Dr. Gbenga Akindoju will be handling the course. So that brings us to the end of our lesson and the end of my stay here in Delhi, New Delhi in India. I hope at the end of it all you enjoyed the lesson, and I'm saying greetings to you all from the hotel I stayed, Greater Noida in New Delhi. All right, bye-bye.